It is said that the Force has a will. It has a destiny for us all. But it uses us all, and that is abhorrent to me, because I hate the Force. I hate that it seems to have a will, that it would control us to achieve some measure of balance when countless lives are lost. But in you, I see the potential to see the Force die. But I do not want your mercy. I want you to break.
Searching for the dose of elation. Bring me closer to the brink. Wasted youth, let my family run out of patience. Watch me sink into the ground. I don't wanna be such a burden. I don't wanna keep on reverting, but it feels like nothing's for certain. Think it's time to draw the curtains, 'cause they try to lock up my demons, and my mind is broken and beaten, burning every bridge that's laid along my way. Try to find my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape. Try to find my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape. I don't wanna be such a burden. I don't wanna keep on reverting, but it feels like nothing's for certain. Think it's time to draw the curtains, 'cause they try to lock up my demons, and my mind is broken and beaten, burning every bridge that's laid along my way. Had it all handed to me, wasted opportunities. Yeah, I just can't help but ruin things. I'm so sick of sabotaging all of it. It's not like I'm ungrateful. No, I come across as hateful, but come on, who can blame you when you grow told that you're an angel? 'Cause they try to lock up my demons, and my mind is broken and beaten, burning every bridge that's laid along my way. Try to find my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape, my escape. Try to find my escape, my escape, my escape.
Yo guys, what's going on? How are we doing? It is Wednesday. It is time to do the awesome. We're gonna do a feedback stream. And if you're all ready, go ahead and submit your song. Otherwise, we're gonna get started. So, first up we have Kaisel. Oh shit. Wrong freaking thing, man. If Kaisel here. And they want feedback on mastering, sound design, and song structure. Okay. No, mixing, mastering, song structure. Okay. All right, we're gonna try and help Kaisel. What's up, Basty? What's up, Shafra? You guys doing good today? Let's get started. Oh shit. There we go. I like that. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I like this kind of church aesthetic. Anything with an organ, I usually really like. Reminds me kind of Virtual Riot's Pray for Rhythm. I think that's what it was, where it had like a church organ intro. When I'm hearing it now, I like the organ intro you're doing, but writing it to feel like a church organ is something you should try and do. It just sounds like you wrote chords, and the chords are very nice, but try to imagine how like an organist would actually play an organ. They usually like kind of fly up and down the keys, like a lot of embellishing. Just look at some references of what they do with organs, and you'll know what I mean. But they're very decorative with their notes, and usually it's just like kind of easier things to do, like on a keyboard or piano, than it would be writing it. It's just like fluttering between two notes, or just kind of like a strum effect, like you're going up all the notes in a chord. But small things like that, I think, would make this section a lot better and kind of more characteristic. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but you should. It'd be kind of funny if you had like a thunder strike effects. That would be cheesy as fuck. Just some ambiance, you know. I really like the choir in the back. I think it sits really well. This section here, the metal section, you did a really good job actually writing this section. I'll get my cursor a little bit. You did a good job writing the actual metal section. It sounds good. Everything falls really well together. The drums sound pretty good. The only thing is that like the lows are really lacking here. It feels like it's being high passed, like the whole thing is high passed. Yeah, it just sounds like it's being high passed. Like your drums here are distorting as if like the lows are the things that are clipping, but it's not what's happening. It's like you're like high passing after the fact or something. So I would just take out the high pass, just let the low end ring out. It's okay to have a low end in the intros, as long as you have some way to contrast it, and you have a little bridge here anyways. Like you have a proper build up, so that's the way you make contrast for the drop and have all the low end and make it bright and stuff. So there's that separation already. Just add back in the lows. So admittedly, writing and mixing like metal is something I'm still working on. The approach to mixing is a lot different than you would think. And it's not because like it's not because they don't like use sidechain the same way or anything like that. Their drums are just simply mixed differently. They do use sidechain, but in a lot of different way than we do. Like they use sidechain that's for mainly the kick, but it's really short. And it varies from song to song. It's very dependent on what kind of snare you're using too. It's just I couldn't like explain in depth enough. Also the drums are usually way quieter in the mix. They're more like a you feel them kind of drums. Like the kick usually feel in the low end for the most part. Like that's the main place you would feel them. You don't really hear them in the highs or in the mids that much. So kind of same thing with the snare. Like you mainly feel the snare where the fundamental is. Usually it's just like a really short transient, but while these drums do sound good, they might be too loud for their own good. Maybe dial them back and see how they sound. Usually want their transients to pop through. The way drums are recorded for like metal stuff, they have all those transients that are really loud and they mix them down and kind of compress them really hard. So they have that really loud transient still. Not really a fan of that like build up kick rumble thing. It was kind of hard to understand what was happening in this section. It sounds like the downbeat was right there, but I kind of understand now in the context, but it goes boom, 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 right? I think the sub is probably too blown out in this section. I like the drum writing here. Very nice. I think pretty much everything in here is pretty well balanced. This is metal section is the biggest problem. It's just the lows being blown out, usually around where the downbeat is. I'm not much of a fan of. Like these, you can hear the mids are absolutely crunched. Like the highs, the mids, super blown out. And then immediately after, you have like a really clean sub. The highs are pretty soft, but they're big, right? They're really big. You can't have both a big and soft sound and like a really heavy crunchy one. And I would say just cut back the blown out sub a little bit, and that's all. Everything else just sounds good. Yeah, and I like the outro. It also fits nicely. Sounds good. That's all for that song. So thank you, Kaisel, for submitting. Hope that helps. Then next up we have Complex. Complex said that I would really like this one. So let's see if I actually do. Let's see if it is that hype. All right. Final. Whoops, I skipped to the very end. Well, my notes. Let's go down my notes for the song. The Reese. This is kind of a bad sign when you have an intro and it's just instantly blown out and distorted. There's not anything in this intro section that should oh my gosh, why am I not speaking right? There's nothing in this intro that should make the intro clip. You should just not have this happening in your mix. The Reese, I don't think it's even the Reese or the background effects are making this happen. It just seems like it's just the master. Like the master's way too loud. And your intro Reese and your pad over here just doesn't have any room to breathe or to exist. You can hear just how much it's just crunching together. The low end of the Reese is just, yeah, it's slamming everything together. You can hear it really bad here. There's a riser that comes up, and it's also just, it sounds like it's being clipped really fucking bad. And then once the Reese stops, you can hear the Reese suddenly sounds like really clean. Also, you have like a nice build up here. Like, I mean, as a concept of the build up, it's good. You have a kind of like a slam. You have the tension there. You have the scream. It's making things really intense. Like, holy shit, did I just awaken a demon? And then like has the kick building up, but the whole master is so fucking loud that you can't hear the kick until the very last second, and just can't get any more intense. Like, you lose the intensity of the kick because everything is so fucking drowned. Also, another bad sign in your mix is if your drums sound like square waves. Your kick sounds like a square wave. Your snare sounds like a square wave. That's not a good sign. You don't want your drums to be that insanely distorted. Look at like your waveform, like your actual waveform on an oscilloscope or something, and just see what your drums look like. If your drums look like a square wave, or resemble something like that, then they're just too distorted. That's just the easiest way to tell. I could just tell by listening to this that it's so distorted. So Blastix. I like your gun tone, and it sounds good. It sounds really nice and thumpy, but I feel like it could use a bit more mids and bring out those like mid tones, the tonality of it. It's just a little too scooped for my liking. And here's the other major complaint I have. Your drop is pretty short. Like it's 16 bars. And then immediately after that you have like 64 bars. You have 64 bars or something, or 32 bars probably, of just like of respace and pad just here. And I just don't understand that. Also, the other point I was gonna make is the second drop should have a fake out. if you're going to kind of skip past the build-up or have less of one, at least build up tension by having a fake out. And I think a fake out would be pretty good here. Like a fake out is kind of like a substitute for a build-up that is missing. If you can do that, then that would make this drop a lot better and more impactful. Again, though, it is way too short. Like, it lasts about 16 bars and that's it. I just did a production stream on tips for mastering and how to look for clues on what to improve upon in a master. You should look at that live stream if you are like a paid member, and see like the ways you can fix this and how to diagnose problems, where your master should be, where the loudness should be, the waveform. I give like tons of ways to analyze your tracking. I think that would do you a lot of good if you looked at that. But these are my notes. Biggest issue is just it being really loud. This intro should be your metric for how loud your master should be. This section should not be distorted like this. That if you can get it to where this section isn't distorted, and the rest, oh my gosh, and the rest of your drop doesn't sound really weak, then you're in a good spot. But for now, it's just the master is the thing that's upsetting me the most. And I know you looked for just specifically mixing, but mixing and mastery kind of goes hand to hand. And I think you could have a really good mix, but your master could ruin it because it's too loud. That's the easiest way to ruin a good mix, is just by having it too loud, and that's what happened in this case. Anyways, yeah, thank you for submitting. I hope that kind of helps with your situation. Let me know how it goes, and if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me. All right, next up we have Neochrono. The waveform looks like it wants to get out, but it can't. This is, damn, 1, 2, 3, 4? A 4-way collab. Okay. I like the effects you have. The pan, the left and right pan on that synth. You're doing good, Baba. How are you doing? else I seen you in this chat. Dude, I feel like there's been a different drum sample in every section. That's nice. I like this. Okay. I have a lot to say, damn. I almost like kind of went off the screen. Okay. I like the intro a lot. It's very good. I feel like it's iconic. The vocal chops kind of come in and it's just a really nice touch. I always love vocal chops. I think vocal chops are a really easy way to make a song sound really unique. You're kind of like taking a cheat code from like vocals, because vocals can make anything instantly recognizable. Just you have lyrics, you have the tone. It's a human singing, you know, so you instantly connect with it a lot more. Vocal chops are just like a cheat code. If you want to just like write a cool melody but you don't want to sing, then you just put in vocal chops. And of course, like actually getting the phrasing right is really important too. The only thing on the vocal chops is I do want to have more variation. It seems like it's repeating the same like 2-bar loop or like even 1 bar. So if there was variation in the pitch and if it like was connected to the chords or the leads in some way, like harmonize with them, that would make it so much better. But some variation would be a lot nicer. You had a lot of the cool synths in here. I think the synths, you actually killed it. Yeah, the synth selection choice was fantastic. The bass selection was pretty good up until the very end, but I'll come on that more. The biggest thing in this section, your kick is very minimal. So it has a really, really short transient that doesn't really have that much highs. And the energy in that is mostly in the lows. Like it usually has a very deep sub. Now, for the style, I would suggest making it pump more. I want the sidechain to pump more. I want it to feel like the kick is just it has all the attention. You're really emphasizing the offbeat. And the best way to do that is to just sidechain the highs more. So depending on how you sidechain, you could just frequency split it and affect the highs more. Like try to imagine the ducking just has a longer decay. I think it would sound much better. Okay. And right here, I don't like the clap. I think you have a super synthy kick, which I think works pretty well. Yeah, you kind of like a bunch of synthy instruments surrounding it, which I think it's fine. But this clap sounds really acoustic. Like it sounds like a real recorded clap. I think the clap sample is actually good. It just doesn't fit with the aesthetic in this section. Now this is gonna be something I complain about a bit throughout your song is the drum selection. It's very inconsistent. And I think that kind of, goes with a four-way collab. Like I think everybody's probably using different drums. The laser parts in here. Right there. The lasers just have a bit too much highs. I would tone them down a bit. And up until here, the drum selection has been consistent, but now it's just kind of falling apart. You have a completely different kick and completely different snare. Neither of them I like. The snare especially. The snare sounds like it's a really old Vengeance snare, and it just doesn't fit at all. I don't know what kind of vibe you're going for. I feel a little confused. Writing is good. The synths are good. I think everything is mixed pretty well. It's just like the drums. I don't understand. And then you have these claps that come in, and these are like crowd rhythm claps. Different sample again. And then just different drums again. I think that's the same kick, but I'm not sure. And then you swap drums again. Yeah, they're just too inconsistent. And in this part, we have kind of like this, would you call this kind of genre? Like just electro complextro or something? It's like a Skrillex inspired kind of sound. The writing is overcomplicated. You kind of have too much going on. The phrasing isn't good, and there's no clear call and response. You don't have it resolving in a satisfying way. Just feels like a bunch of sounds are kind of playing, and I have to deal with it. I would seriously kind of deconstruct this drop and try to think about the phrasing, the rhythm that you want, and the call and response and resolution that happens at the end of the bar, and where you want to go. Also thinking context of building it up. Are you building the energy up, or is it going down? That would make it a lot better. It's just overcomplicated and you're doing too much. This last part is a bit of a nitpick, but it just kind of goes into this this key melody, and then you're like building it up like there's a TV fucking glitching noise, and then you introduce a sub or like some bass that comes in and supports it, but it's the outro, so I'm confused. Why is it kind of progressing up? Should be progressing down, going from a high energy point to the outro. So it should just, you should have the bass in the starting point here. and then it just, it starts playing without the bass, and then the instruments kind of quiet down, and then that song ends. Any genre, any genre. You can send any genre as long as you produce the song and not just singing on it, because we are a production feedback channel. That's a red flag for me to switch out drums all the time. I switch out drums a lot, but I'm really picky about my drums, so it's a whatever situation. I try really hard. I'm try hard with drums. Anyways, that's all the feedback I have for you, Neochrono. Hopefully that helps. Had quite a lot to say about that one, which I don't think I've commented this much on a song you sent me, but again, I mean, this is a 4-way collab, so a lot of this isn't even your opinion or your choices. So got Avada. Damn, this is a month old. When's the last time I reviewed a song from you? Feels like it's been a while. A few months. What's up, Complex? Yeah, you did. I think yours was the second one. You can find it. I don't know if you can go back in the live stream on here, but it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. So if you go on my YouTube channel and I just go back, yeah, I commented on your song. The major thing for me was just the master being loud, so that was the key point I made. Anyways, we have Avada. Prepare your anus.
How you like that? Come on!
Damn. Damn, bro.
How you like that? Come on!
was fucking sick. Okay. Things I really liked was this swingy synth. The that was fucking cool. I like that. You should lean into that swinginess like way more. I think he does some good swinginess here, actually. I think in this next like 4 bars, it kind of loses the swingy feel, which I think it should bring back. In this section too. Next section. So the first, I like this first section because it feels nice and swingy. You could of course like peel away from it later in the drop, but I think the swinging part was what made it feel so unique to me, and it kind of gave it a really cool vibe. I would just lean into it more. The mids on the bass. The mids on the bass are kind of too much. They have a really cool tonality to them, but just lower them a little bit. Either that, or it could be the drive that you have on the bass. It sounds like it's really distorted, which maybe that's causing it, but I don't know. Your sub bass for sure sounds like it's way too distorted, and I would just try to make it not so overblown sounding. Either putting a notch in like 200 to 150 hertz range, or just not distorting it as much. Decision's yours. I'm actually not too bothered by how blown out the sub is, really. Something's really good. I just gotta say that. I don't like this part that much because it's just the same intro. If you could add some variation in some way, that would make it way better. And finally, the last feedback I have is just that you're using these voice lines that have been around for fucking 3 decades. Just try a different vocal pack or like a phrase. You could sample like a rap song or something. But it just seems really cheesy when you have this.
How you like that? Come on!
That come on! Like. And at some point you had the was it the Kashmir sample where it goes burro, burro.
How you like that? Come on!
Those are my major feedbacks. I kind of like where your drums are. Your snare is pretty snappy, and kind of sits in the mix pretty damn well. Maybe put like a little bit transient processor on it. Increase the transient, just make it a little bit louder. The kick I think is fine. The kick sounds really distorted, but it just sounds good. It's like really kind of rolled off distortion, but your sub is also distorted that way, so it just feels kind of nice.
Come on! We don't give a
think it sounds good. That's about all the feedback I have for you, Avada. So good shit. Alrighty. Next up, we got Basty. They just want feedback on mastering. Okay. 134 BPM melodic house V2 with a image of something. The hell is this? Quantize Ben. Default shapes, my favorite wavetable. He has 16 voices on these two. That's hilarious. Sorry, I'm judging your patch. Is that patch in here? Where's she, man? You kind of leave me with nothing to say if you just want mastering, man. The only mastering that I can think of is that the lows are too wide, and they're like kind of clipping. So yeah, let's fix that. This is making me believe that this is your main synth. The bang, 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 bang. If the detune is really this wide, that's fucking crazy. You're a crazy person if they're this wide. That's the main sound, yes. Dude, it's too wide. That's like so insane. Oh well. I mean, it's mastered pretty well. It doesn't feel like there's that much ducking, which there should be more ducking. Actually, I don't know. The vocals sound like they're being ducked a lot. I'm confused. Are the vocals being sidechained the same as the synth? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Use the compactor for this. Oh, you said okay. I was gonna think I was crazy for a sec if they weren't. I think compactor is a good sidechain tool, but it's kind of hard to use to get exactly what you want. I find like I feel like I'm always kind of sidechaining too much, so I just kind of I do it with regular like volume automation, or like just like a shaper box or something. So I do both now, but I really don't use compactor to be that intense because it's really easy to fuck up. Yeah, I mean, good shit. It's pretty cool, I guess. It sounds really fucking minimal. It just sounds like it's that synth and fucking that's it. You have nothing else. So hopefully the next version you send. This is version 2. What was version 1? Curious. Hopefully version 3 is sick as hell. Version 3 is like gonna be on Monster Cat or something. Who knows? It's gonna be next to Marshmallow alone. I know, it's quite the contrast. You make all this fucking heavy shit. Like, I'm gonna make some melodic house. That's kind of me though. I was making like indie rock stuff, jazz. Okay, and this is Azeza Bashakra. Azeza Bashakra. Okay. Look up Basty. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is piano. This reminds me of another song. It's an Envoy. It's not. I forget what I said. But you're like, it feels like you're going for like a mystic, like a soundtrack for a magician. What it sounds like a mysterious kind of tonality, Um, really dissonant. Which yeah, it's 450 hertz. Is that what you're tuning to? Just to be clear, I don't think tuning the song up will make any difference at all. Like it's relative to people's perception of pitch. If you were to take a song and transpose it down just a few hertz, no one's gonna notice. Like no one's gonna notice or really care. It's not gonna have a different effect on people. I think sticking to 440 is just like fine. Um, and especially I don't think at least that it has any real value to do that. Like some people say 432 hertz was like the frequency that resonated with the earth or something, and it like aligns your chakras or some shit. I don't believe any of that stuff um at all. I think when people listen to music, they hear pitch relative. There's nothing inherently wrong with pitching it up or down. It's just I think it's unnecessary to do that. Okay, let's go down the notes. Your vocoder, it kind of sounds like it's the vocodex in FL Studio. Vocoders, admittedly, I mean, they're kind of hard to deal with. I would kind of understand if they sound like this. It just doesn't sound good. I'm gonna be blunt about that. The vocoder doesn't sound good. And there's a few reasons for that. For one, you have a piano that's playing. A piano is a very organic instrument, and it has a very unique sound. People usually associate that with like classical music. And you have a vocoder, which is being vocoded with really dry saw waves. And saw waves are very harsh on the ears, and they're very synthetic, and kind of give a more poppy impression. So already you have two instruments clashing too much without any blending. You don't have any other instruments that are kind of like more synthy to have a background or is sitting in the lows or anything. It's just you have your piano, a sine wave sub bass, and then your vocoder. And also your vocoder settings are really thin. You have if you look at the actual bands on a vocoder, it's really like again it's really hard to get a good sound vocoder or like to understand how it's supposed to sound. I think you set it up correctly. It's just the bands are too narrow, so it sounds like it's ringing out. So when you have like that kind of watery, like water phone sound, that's when you know it's too thin. You want it to sound more like a robot is singing or saying something. So just thicken up the bands, probably use fewer bands. You should use something like 16 instead of 100. Your sidechain setup needs to be completely changed. It sounds like you're using like a limiter for sidechain. Like you route the drums to a limiter, you set the attack and release, and that's it. That's a really bad way to sidechain, and it's very outdated as well. The way people sidechain now is by using either volume automation or some sidechain program that's specialized for that. The one I use is Shaperbox, and that is able to detect the starting point of the drum and allows you to create a shape with that trigger point in any way you want. And it shows you the waveform of the kick and the waveform of whether you're sidechaining, so you can accurately duck your samples to be in line with your kick. Now, in this case, your sidechain is really long, but it's also not strong at all. So you have this really over-exaggerated pumping effect on your kick and your snare, but it's not strong enough for it to be worth the ducking. Like, your drums are not getting any clearer because you're just simply not ducking the volume enough to allow the drums to sit up top and to take more space. And for one, I mean, your drums are really outdated. They are seriously outdated. These sound like Vengeance samples, and if you don't know what Vengeance samples are, well, now you know. It sounds like really old school dubstep, like dubstep you hear at an esports tournament still today, because they use drum samples like that. Try to look up some free packs that are for like dubstep or something. They're much better, and especially look at the date that they're released too. Look at for the more modern drum selections, because this is a far cry from what they sound like now. They sound way better now than they did back then. And your snare is just a bit too quiet. It should be louder, just simply put. In anything EDM, your drums should always be louder than the actual synths, just for clarity. And it's EDM. It stands for electronic dance music. What are you dancing to? The beat. What's the beat? The drums. If you have something like house and you have the 4 on the floor beat, oots, 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 those are the fucking drums. You want the beat to sound the most so that people can dance to it. So have the drums be the more present part of your mix. And in contrast to that too, your kick is too busy. Your kick should have its moments where it has like a small fill or something. That's fine. But when you're playing, not that section. When you have a halftime section here where the rhythm kind of slows down, and it opens up more space for the synths and the bass to kind of play whatever rhythm they want. You want your kick to also kind of lay back, kind of take a back seat. It's just too busy. Your kick is playing way too much. Like right here, it just gets obnoxious. Another comment I have is that your piano just is playing nonstop from start to end. You should have some kind of break from your piano. Your piano's just too busy as well. It doesn't matter how good the writing is. You should have your synths change and your instruments change over time to kind of have a sense of progression and like the song's going somewhere. Why not swap it out with like a super saw or some plucks? Like use a different instrument or something. That's all the feedback I really have for you. Thank you for submitting though. Hope that helps with everything, and especially looking at like how to use a vocoder, I think would be a really good option for you, because vocoders are kind of hard to understand, admittedly. But yeah. I'm using Killer's compactor with like 1 millisecond track and 50 millisecond release on everything. It depends on how you're using it, because you're leaving out anything. You're leaving out information about like the intensity. Like if you look at compactor, I'll have to open FL Studio for this, so give me a sec. KillerArts compactor. Let's do this. Okay. I think you can see compactor here. Yeah. Okay. So compactor, I'll make this really big. You have the attack and release here, but you actually have the threshold. This right here is your threshold. So anything that is above this line will get triggered. And then you also have the range. So if it does get triggered, how much is it going to duck? Usually you want in sidechain, anything sidechain for drums, you want to duck all the way. So that means if it hits this point, it's gonna duck all the way down. And that's typically how you use it. Stereo just means that like it sidechains stereo differently. ISP, these are the settings you should use. Release being 50 milliseconds, I think is a bit too long. I would shorten it. Even then, I think compactor it's a good choice, but you should get the fundamentals down of sidechain better. It's kind of like a harder sidechain plugin to use. I use something like Shaperbox here. You can see like I can set a trigger point. I can have the threshold, so anything past this threshold gets triggered, and then I can make it duck in this exact shape for anything that's triggered by that volume. So just choose your tools wisely. I was talking about literally just earlier about compactor, on how it's like kind of difficult to use and to get right. Even I kind of have trouble implementing it. But still, yeah, do that. Okay, but thank you for submitting. Do we have any more submissions? Yes, we do. We have Shafra. Send your songs. You send them on Patreon. You can just join as a free member, and then you can see the feedback form right there, and you can submit. All right. Got Shafra. My feedback on other. Just sharing a different style. I created this one. This as a contest beat for trap step. Just want to share and get general feedback. So just general thoughts. Okay, won't be too specific. We'll play through it.
Calm down. Wicked, wicked. Hot boy. Big zone. Drop it, let it go.
Sounds cool. I liked it. Yeah, for general feedback, some of the perks were just kind of too loud, or too stereo, like more distorted. And right here, your ride just sounds delayed, and I don't like how it sounds delayed. Everything else sounded pretty good. I think there was some phrasing issues here and there, and the mix could be a lot better. Your kick was also kind of a weird sample. What else? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head from just like general impressions, but those are my thoughts. Good shit. Thank you, Shafra. Alright, and this will be the last one for today's stream. We have Slit. What you got for a Slit? I need to take a drink real quick. My mouth is really fucking dry. Alright. Slit, let's see what you got. Whole ass fucking thing.
Jeder Atemzug fällt schwer, seitdem du nicht mehr bist. Es ist nichts mehr wie vorher. Ich sinke ab bis ins Abyss. Die Last zerrt mich so ins Tief. Weiß nicht, ob ich bis zu dir noch schaff. Tauchst du dir in einer Submarine, doch der Sauerstoff wird so langsam knapp. Ich wach auf und meine Welt ist grau. Wasser in der Lunge, ich halt's aus. Mein Herz schlägt, doch ich fühle mich taub. Hört das Ganze irgendwann auch auf. Fuck, ich spüre, auf mir liegt so viel Druck. Fühlt sich an so wie ne Tonne auf der Brust. Kam alles wirklich so, wie's kommen muss. Fuck mich jeden Tag, ist jetzt heute Schluss. Vielleicht klingt es verrückt, wenn ich das jetzt sag. Manchmal spür ich dich noch so, als wärst du da. Dann red ich wieder mit Schatten nachts und hoffe, dass du mich auch hören kannst. Jeder Atemzug fällt schwer, seitdem du nicht mehr bist. Es ist nichts mehr wie vorher. Ich sinke ab bis ins Abyss. Die Last zerrt mich so ins Tief. Weiß nicht, ob ich bis zu dir noch schaff. Tauchst du dir in einer Submarine, doch der Sauerstoff wird so langsam knapp. Wie vorher und nicht mehr.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cut it short there. I think I got the gist of it. I'm only listening for like production stuff, and there's just not really anything here else I can comment on other than your vocals. This is a production stream, just so you know. So I come on people's production and they're mixing sound design and everything else. I'm gonna assume that you work with guitar. The guitar sounds pretty authentic. I think the writing was fine. It wasn't anything crazy or like powerful, impressive. It was just normal. As far as your vocal processing goes, your vocals are too loud. They're way too loud. And they're also too mono. Like they're just sitting in the middle. And that impression gives that it's just one take, and you didn't really put much effort into it. When you have a song like this that is really vocal centric, you gotta put more effort into the vocals, which you have other takes, you have ad libs playing, but they're just so quiet and unimportant in the mix that I just can't appreciate them. So you need to bring those other stacks up. Also, adding some harmony would be really good. Harmonizing is pretty much a must in most fields of like singing, and just being able to make it sit well with the guitars. Anything like delay and reverb too, I think would do pretty well. I didn't really hear it that intense in this, if you had any, especially not delay, but just add those in to make your vocals more prominent and wider, kind of take up more space. I think as far as everything else goes, it was just okay. Definitely the vocals are too loud though. That's my big takeaway from this. But thank you for submitting. I think that will be all for today. So thank you everybody for submitting. I stream every Wednesday at 5 p.m. EST. So if you want to come around next time and submit another song of yours, then yeah, it's time I'll be streaming. And if you are a paid Patreon member, I'll be doing song stuff. I'll be doing productions and video tutorials. I finally got my project fixed for one of my Patreons, so they sent me a project file of theirs, and I'm gonna go in and fix it and I'm gonna do a video on it. So yeah, thank you all. See ya next week, and for those paid, I'll see you Saturday.